Hello. Zoochosis is the video game equivalent of playing Tamagotchi whilst very high on coke. I bet none of you would believe me if I told the zoo is harboring eldritch horrors beyond our imagination. I was promised 100k for this job, but all I received was worms under my skin. Thanks to my contributions in the Lithuanian Blood Wars, my dear friend Joris Sudas managed to steal and gift me a key to this game. In this game, you're a zookeeper named Paul, and you're broke, so of course we're willing to sacrifice our life for the possibility of 1 million V-Bucks. So, if I want to escape my life in poverty, I'll need to somehow rid these animals of parasites so that my morally ambiguous boss will pay me. Now here's how my first day went. In the beginning cutscene, I signed an NDA which was followed by me getting injected with the super mutant virus from Fallout. From there on I was shown how to take care of the animals. I need to feed them, then use the shit sucker, takes your temperature, sound? I don't know, this one never got explained to me. And blood. Factoring in all these things, we can find out what diseases the animals are suffering from and make a possible cure. This one plays League of Legends.
I just want to talk to him.
Why do you have a shotgun?
I cured the first animal without it turning into something that could possibly live in Asmongold's house. And that's the tutorial. It ends with our absolute predator of a boss leaving us behind and locking us in, and telling us he'll be back by morning. From this point forwards, your actions will count towards the ending. And trust me, there's a lot of different things that count towards the ending. First one is this. After you walk out the office, you are stopped by your homeless wife, begging for food. I kinda felt obligated, so I gave her some of my meat. This interaction was fucking horrifying, so I immediately started running away towards the next animal, that being the wallaby. They didn't turn evil. But we did get a call from someone's snow bunny. Her name was Linda, and she was asking about her husband CJ, who's supposed to be our co-worker. CJ's nowhere to be found. But I better hope he doesn't meet us, because I am very much fucking infected. We went looking for clues in the next enclosure, the gorilla station. I stood here in my trolley for like the next 5 minutes contemplating my life decisions. It's probably a very good time in the video to tell you that I am a fucking bitch. I am a pussy. I descend from fearful men. I do not play horror games. And this ineptitude led to one of the gorillas being murdered by its new demon sibling. Realizing I might have just lost my biggest paycheck ever, I went into a rage and gave the infected gorilla 3 whole syringes of lethal injection. And by a rage, I mean I stood in the hallway like a fucking coward. I did not step close to that thing. I'm starting to think my boss is an involuntary celibate. We grind the girl up and find CJ's severed hand in our bio-waste filter. I hope my wife and children are enjoying their Afro-American meatloaf. Here I am. All my decisions led to the worst possible ending. In this ending, my wife gets kidnapped by the Estonians. This girl, who is an important NPC, has been grinded down into meat, and I have been sacrificed to the finger demon. If you don't want this ending, you should immediately turn back to the hub once the snow bunny calls you. You should always answer the phone when it rings. She'll give you CJ's locker code, and in there is the secret on how to revert the mutants back to normal. Don't grind up the alternative woman, and use CJ's hand in order to get into the basement. In there, you should call your wife to tell her you're okay. If you don't, she'll die. Return into the basement after saving another animal, and then you'll be able to create a virus which is capable of killing the mother. Poison yourself and offer it up as bait. And that's how you get it. I won't elaborate any more on these endings. There are videos which are completely dedicated to the other endings. And that's not the point of this video. I am here to give some honest critique and an honest review about the game. Thank you if you stayed through that segment of the video. It was necessary so you could get a better grasp at the problems of this game. And now finally, it is time to talk about the negatives, since there are multiple things I don't like about the game. I'm not sponsored, so I can give criticism, and I hope all of these things can be smoothed out for a better consumer experience. I'll just start listing these things off. The game has a lot of things in its trailer which do not happen in the game. Judging by the trailers, you might think this game is about trying to deal with a parasite which is slowly spreading throughout the zoo. No. You get to take care of 4 animals at best, and the game will abruptly end after that. It's just so short, and it should be way longer. Some of these cutscenes from the trailer show the infected animals roaming through areas of the map which they just can't access in the actual game. I don't know if this was taken out before launch or if it was just false advertisement in order to drive up the hype, but it's disappointing. This penguin in the final trailer just can't get here. This just feels misleading in my opinion. I at least had a completely different idea about the game before I got to play it. Then the gameplay. The gameplay itself isn't that great at the moment. The animals can't get out of their enclosures, and their AI is just overall pretty bad. The idea of saving the animals doesn't hold up well when you figure out that the animals dying doesn't impact the story or the game in any way. Besides, AI can't really even hurt the other animals due to them just janking out and running around all over the place. And there's no negative to the animals dying, since the game will just end shortly after, and even if they do die, there is always an infected animal inside one of the enclosures, so you can expect a boss fight every time you complete the research. The actual design of the bosses is pretty good, visually I mean. But gameplay wise, they fall short. The gorilla, the wallaby, zebra and giraffe just climb on walls and run up from 3 different directions, so they just kind of feel the same. They don't do anything different really. The hippo digs underground and appears from somewhere, and the penguin is the worst. He's the worst by far. I hate him. You need animal blood. Okay, sorry for your context. You need animal blood in order to cure the infected animals. But in order to draw blood from an animal, the animal has to be in a stationary state. This can lead to you just running next to them for long periods of time until they stop. Sometimes they don't even do so. In the penguin fight, they're always frightened, and if you try to tranquilize them, they can't waddle to their sleeping spot in time. I don't understand why they have to walk back to their beds. Can't they just fall over and like start sleeping? I had so many soft locks in the penguin fight. You just can't really do anything there because you can't get the blood. You need to kill. Every time I tried to cure the penguin, I just had to kill it because I couldn't get blood from the penguins. Then there's the moose and the elephant. I never got to the elephant. My game just kept crashing. But I got to the moose. The moose has an ability where if it stares at you long enough, it will just teleport to you and jump scare you. That's the best one so far. It's the most interactive one. And that leads me to the 2 other critiques I have. The jump scares aren't scary, and you just can't die. Yep, you can't die. There's no stakes, and that just sucks the horror out of the game. You don't get punished in any way, and the game becomes about doing the same boss fight routine over and over and over again. The animals being a goofy boss fight just feels like a chore. They should make the animals be able to get out of their area and actually chase you all the way to the trolley. I was speedrunning all my playthroughs after the first one because I wanted to see the other endings for the video. And even I got used to the horror after the first playthrough, and I am a major time bitch. By the way, why do the animals have to be behind New Game Plus, and why can't you just access them all immediately? The voice acting isn't that great, but I can excuse that since we don't know who was hired. But the characters don't make much sense. I know I joked about the main character going along with everything, even though they shouldn't, but it is really dumb. You can't fight the final boss, and the game is very buggy and unfinished. I got softlocked so many times, and I got so many broken cutscenes. It's just crazy. This game just isn't a horror game in my opinion. It's an unfinished and misleading game as of now. And it just isn't worth a €22 price tag. And I think that really sucks because I was really looking forward to it and I was a fan. I hope the devs will make the game better with due time and patches, but at its current state, I can't really recommend it. I think it just needed more time in the oven. The developers of the game are an indie studio with a little bit of experience, so let's hope they take this as a learning experience.